teachers, school heads, and RPMS implementers in the Department of Education, good morning. These resource videos are intended to reinforce your understanding about the RPMS PPST for school year 2021-2022. As mentioned, the resource videos will be divided into 3 episodes. And for our first episode, I will walk you through the PPST-based RPMS through the years. Moving on to our topic today. So this will be an overview of the RPMS PPST tools, including our timeline, which will be divided into 3 topics and objectives. So the first part of my presentation will be an explanation to discuss with you PPST through the years, linked with feature progression, including its key feature. It will be followed by an overview discussion about the RPMS tools for proficient and highly proficient teachers. And the last part will be devoted into the timeline or the RPMS cycle for this school year. So moving on with our topic. So, the downloading and integration of 37 PPST indicators in the RPMS of teachers is originally slated for 3 years. This is to provide sufficient time for teachers to understand the performance indicators that is aligned with the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Kindly take note that the distinct context and challenges were considered in the selection of indicators for each year. That is why this is divided into 3 years of implementation. So specifically, for this school year 2021-2022, teachers shall be able to complete all the 37 PPST indicators translated into performance indicators. Kindly take note that the year 3 indicators are really not new. They are the remaining indicators that will make up for the 37 indicators that was gradually released since 2018 or school year 2018. So to discuss in details why I mentioned that this indicator for this school year is not new. So for my next slide, I'll walk you through how these 37 indicators was gradually downloaded in our RPMS. So if you can see, okay, so for school year 2018-2019 and school year 2019-2020, so there are 12 indicators highlighted in green. And for school year 2020-2021, highlighted in orange, those are the PPST indicators that is included. And for school year 2021-2022, yan po yung natitira po nating indicators to complete the 37 indicators. But to mention po and to emphasize that there are indicators within the 37 indicators that was repeated across year 1, year 2, and year 3. So yan po yung mapapansin nyo po with a single asterisk. And there are indicators as well that was repeated po across year 1 and year 2. So yan po yung makikita nyo po na indicators with double asterisk. So moving on with our discussion. So why there is a need to actually complete the 37 PPST indicators in our RPMS? This is to ensure that indeed po, the department is very serious in our commitment to uphold teacher quality in schools and improve learning outcomes. At the same time, teacher performance will be assessed based on only what they do, what they are expected to do as a teacher as defined in the PPST. Further, we need to have a complete picture of the teacher performance as an input to professional development intervention, as we intend to prepare our teachers for the implementation of the new system of career progression for teachers and what we call competency-based reclassification process. If you are able to watch our series of explanation about career progression for teachers, oh no, this will be a sort of like review. But for those who missed that episode, in the next slide, you will see there will be like 3 requirements once we implemented the career progression for teachers, or what we call the competency-based reclassification for teachers. One is that teachers should meet the CSC-approved qualification standards per position. Second, there is a requirement of PPST-based performance requirements. And then the last one is that teacher will still undergo a PPST-based selection process. So for purposes of our topic today, we will zoom in into item number 2, which is the PPST-based performance requirements. That is why po, we need to complete the 37 indicators. So for this one, if you can see, no, each position, each teacher position requires the achievement of a specific PPST indicators demonstrated in teacher's performance. And it will be measured through the IPCRF. Thus, necessitates the completion of the 37 indicators in PPST. Okay, so moving forward, yan. So we will now go through the key features of DepEd Memorandum 4 Series of 2022. So under this memorandum, and it provides guidance, supplementary guidelines for the implementation of RPMS PPST specifically for this school year, which discusses about and specify the RPMS cycle for school year 2021-2022, lay down the performance objectives, performance indicators, and means of verification for proficient and highly proficient teachers and teacher broadcasters. Included also are the guidelines for the RPMS alternative classroom observation given our context in the new normal and employment of learning delivery modalities. Further, included also in this DepEd memorandum are the RPMS tools such as classroom observation tool, self-assessment tool, and teacher reflection form, including the Rater Approving Authority Matrix for teachers and teacher broadcasters. So kindly take note that the performance objectives, performance indicators, including MOVs and tools, will be discussed in the succeeding episode. So make sure to tune in, doon po sa ating mga succeeding episodes. So moving on with our discussion, and as I've mentioned, the school year 2021-2022 indicators are nothing new. They are the remaining 18 out of the 37 RPMS objectives which were issued through DepEd Order number 42, Series 2017, or the National Adoption and Implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. Part also of this DepEd Memorandum 4 Series 2022 are the RPMS timeline for school year 2021, which follows the 4 phases of the RPMS cycle and prescribes a timeline on the conduct of RPMS-related activities for this school year. This particular schedule is applicable only for this school year, and that the cycle schedule in the succeeding school year shall still be aligned with the school calendar activities to be released by the curriculum and instruction strand. So we will zoom in with our RPMS timeline. So as you can see in the presentation So aligned with the phases of the RPMS cycle enumerated in this department memorandum, the different task and activity that the rater and the ratee should undertake in relation to performance assessment of our teachers, including the prescribed schedule and timeline. But since, ito po yung maraming tanong of our teachers, since the DepEd memorandum was issued only this February 2022, Central Office will allow an adjustment on the conduct of activities on these phases, specifically the schedule, based on your context and situation, subject to agreement and negotiation of the rater and the ratee. So despite the late issuance of this DepEd memorandum, the indicators still cover performance for the entire school year and not just the remaining months of the school year. So hindi po ito mag-i-start since the issuance of this DepEd memorandum. So if teachers were able to gather MOVs prior the issuance of DepEd memorandum, and these MOVs are aligned with the indicators for school year 2021-2022, then they may submit them as MOVs. Provided po aligned siya with the specific indicators for this school year. Okay? So yan po yung isa po nating clarification about this schedule and timeline of RPMS PPST for school year 2021-2022. Moving on to the next feature, and that is the scope, the scope of school year 2021-2022. So, it will cover po our regular teachers and our full-time broadcasters. So when we speak about regular teacher, they are the teacher who has direct contact with learners and adopts any of the following learning delivery modalities, such as the synchronous learning, the asynchronous learning, the blended learning, modular learning, or those who are engaged in the limited face-to-face classes. For our full-time broadcasters, kindly take note that these are applicable only to those who are officially reassigned to central office, and part-time teacher broadcasters are still considered as a regular teacher and shall use po the RPMS PPST tool. So meaning for full-time broadcasters, they have no direct contact with students and deliver lessons through TV-based, radio-based, or DepEd teleradio, and create and contextualize the video lessons and radio-based. So as I mentioned a while ago, so there are teachers po that they do teacher broadcasters work on a part-time basis. So for purposes of RPMS PPST, for our part-time teacher broadcasters, they still need to use po yung regular teacher tools, RPMS PPST tools. Okay, so that's our third feature of the DM4 series of 2022. So moving on with our discussion, allow me to present to you the summary of the indicators for proficient teachers. So yan po, as you can see in the slide. So this cover po yung remaining indicators po natin, and this is applicable for both regular teacher and then the full-time teacher broadcaster. Now, let's move to the highly proficient teacher naman po. So for highly proficient teachers, yan po yung summary of our indicators for both regular teacher and the full-time teacher broadcaster for highly proficient teachers. Okay. So I'm giving you time to actually see, yung summary of these indicators. Okay. Now, my question is, are you ready to dive into the RPMS PPST indicators? If yes, then watch out and kindly stay tuned for the release of episode 2, which will discuss, no, and we'll have an in-depth discussion as to the 18 PPST indicators. So kindly stay tuned at DepEd FB page, no? Kindly follow our BHROD page for the next episode. So with that, again, to our teachers, school heads, and RPMS implementers, good morning, everyone.